Little skittle up in the house. I got my feet in my hands and I'm about to spit some bars. My bars are hotter than Mars. 2036 got flying cars. I've been counting Mo dough for show.
Oh, hello, it's your girl Jasmine O, and welcome back to another video here on my channel. Today we are talking about something very important that I believe everybody experiences, both old and young, and that is imposter syndrome. And you might be listening and like, oh, never felt that, never experienced that. I know millions have it, but not me. But like, let me stop you right there in your tracks, because we've all experienced imposter syndrome, okay? Imposter syndrome, also known as imposter phenomenon or fraud syndrome or imposter experience, is a psychological pattern in which an individual doubts their skills, talents, and accomplishments and has a persistent, internalized fear of being exposed as a fraud. This, I feel like everybody has experienced it. You know, like when you went on that one job interview and you put on there that you were proficient in Excel, and then they like, you go in there and they're like, oh, hey, can you work on these spreadsheets? Have it to me by the end of the day. And you start freaking out. Like, that's one, you actually lied. That's one, you will actually be exposed as a fraud. Yeah, there's no getting around it. So that's one, you lied. But that's not what we're talking about here. We are talking about you training for something, applying for it, them hiring you because they see that you have the skills for it, or being in a room full of experts in your field and you doubting yourself or feeling like, I don't belong here. I don't know what everybody else knows. Everybody in this place knows more than me, and I am an imposter, and sooner or later you're going to find out that I'm an imposter because you don't have confidence in your skills. You don't have confidence in your accomplishments. You don't have confidence in your abilities and in your talents. And that, my friend, is what we're going to talk about today. Imposter syndrome is seeing yourself as insignificant. Like, what do I have to offer that can impact you? Like, you impact my life, but what do I have to offer you to impact? Like, look at how great you are. There's nothing that I can say that can make you even more great. It is proven that when we have a sense of belonging, when we feel like we belong in a place, it helps us foster the sense of confidence, right? So if I believe that I belong here, then I'm going to have confidence. You don't believe you belong where you are. You don't believe you belong in that room. You don't believe you belong at that table. You don't believe you belong at that job, at that position that you're in. So you feel like, oh, I lack the confidence because I don't know how, but you lack the confidence because you don't believe that you belong there. Stop trying to talk yourself out of places that God has called you to. Stop trying to talk yourself out of tables that God has ordained for you to sit at because you think that I don't have the skills to be there. But it's not that you don't have the skills to be there. You just don't believe you belong there. When we belong, or we feel like we belong in a place, it has a sense of fostering this sense of confidence in us. And when you think you don't belong in a place, it definitely fosters this internalized fear of it's only a matter of time before people find out that I'm fake. So constantly, every day, your faith is like,
nobody's gonna know.
And then your anxiety is like,
Gonna know. How would they know? How would they know? How would they know? I can't. Oh my God.
I also want to point out that imposter syndrome like robs you of your joy, because during your time of preparation, you were looking forward to like being where you are. And now that you're there, you're second guessing yourself because you think you're not good enough. Like, remember when you used to look forward to having a seat at the table, to being able to walk into that room, and now that you're there, you're gonna like second guess yourself and walk away because you feel like you don't belong? See, imposter syndrome can have you in a space where you're constantly not even enjoying that position, that thing that you wanted for yourself when you were training for it, when you were putting in the work to develop that gift. And now that that door has been opened, and now that that seat has been opened, and now that you've been invited to the table, you can't even enjoy it because you have this constant fear of being exposed as a fraud. See, one thing that we fail to realize is everybody didn't just start out knowing everything. We had to learn along the way. We had to learn something. We had to know something. Somebody had to teach us. And even at the new level that we're at, we're still going to have this sense of fraud or imposterism because we need to learn it. It's not something that's going to come easy. It's not something that's just going to pop up and you're going to feel like, oh, I know what to do. I know how to handle this. You're going to feel like, man, I need time to learn this. I need time to develop this. Having this imposter syndrome, it takes from you the joy that you were looking for to be in that place, to be in that position. I mean, think about it. I don't know about you, but I remember finally understanding the side of psychology and knowing that that's what I wanted to pursue. And so when I was working with kids, when I was in my early years of college, I was super duper excited. And then I finally graduate and now I'm working with students and families in this capacity where people are dependent on me to give them information and to give them my expertise. And now I'm feeling like, who am I to advise this parent when I don't even have children, when I'm not in that stage of my life just yet. And so there were times that I literally had to stop and think like, you literally waited for moments like this. You literally prayed for moments like this. And now you're in this place and you can't even enjoy the fruits of your labor because you feel like somebody's going to expose you as a fraud. How? I had to understand that I belonged there too. Everybody in that room at one point was where I was, at one point knew nothing about where the field that they're in, and they too had to learn and they had to gain knowledge and gain experience. And so there's nothing wrong with me having to gain those things, and it doesn't speak less of my skills or my abilities or my accomplishments. And I have a perspective in what I've done that they don't have, and so I do have something to offer. And a way to overcome imposter syndrome is to just understand that you have something to offer. Your skills, your abilities, first of all, you would have never had an invite, a seat at the table, a door be open. You would never had that invitation if you didn't have something to offer. Just because you're in a room full of experts, you just take a step back and think about it. You have been invited to where everybody knows something in your field. There's something that you have to offer there that somebody thinks is valuable for you to share with them. So now why are you in the space where you feel like I'm a fraud? If you don't know something, develop it. If you don't know something, find out about it. If you don't know something, it's okay. Like, that just means you need to read up on it and find more information about it. But that doesn't make you a fraud. And everybody else is not looking at you like, oh, this is a fraud. Listen, you have to fake it till you make it. I'm not talking about no like fake, you're not a doctor, but you walk into a hospital and you're like, I belong here. Please don't do that. But I'm talking about going into something knowing like, oh, you know what, I belong here just like everybody else, and giving yourself that grace to say, just like everybody else, I'm going to give myself grace to learn these things as I come up to speed. And a couple of things to overcome imposter syndrome are your thoughts. Capture your thoughts. Are my thoughts helping me or are they harming me? When you have certain thoughts that are like, man, you can't do this, is it crippling me to a place where I don't feel like trying? Or is it helping me like to encourage myself and boost me up about what I'm doing? Is this helping me or is this harming me? Is this something that I can change? Oh my God, you're going to know that I don't know this, blah, blah, blah. Well, what can I change about it? I can research more information about it. Okay. Or is this harming me where it's crippling me to a place of not even wanting to try? Believe in your gifts and talents. If you haven't checked out any other videos on my channel, please go ahead and do so. I will recommend overcoming the fear of failure and doubting your dopeness and how to not doubt the gift and talents that you have, okay? You are not expected to know everything, but what you do know it well to the fullest and own it. Own what you know, own what you have, own the skills that you have, and hone it, as my mom likes to say. Hone those skills, develop it, and just know that you're not expected to know everything, but what you do know, own it and do it well. Don't be afraid to ask questions. Don't be afraid to confide in people like, hey, listen, I am beating myself up about this. I remember calling one of my friends and just telling her about the week I had and how I was struggling. And she said to me, you're so used to being able to like capture and do everything and having a handle on everything that you are freaking out or thinking like you need to jump ship because it's not going your way. Like, it's okay, give yourself time. I have a couple of friends who are in this field as well. Would you like me to reach out to them? And that really, like, just hearing that really like calmed me and like helped me center, because it was just like, you know what, she is right. Maybe I am trying to jump ship because I came up upon something that was hard and I just felt like I wasn't qualified for it. So now let me leave. But when she said that, I was like, okay, yes, connect me with your friends who are in this field, and definitely need that support. And let me take another go at this, okay? And just know that your confidence that you feel like you're lacking, it's not in your skills, but it's in you believing that you belong where you belong. So stop trying to take your plate to go. Stop trying to walk away from that table. Stop trying to close that door prematurely because God ordained for you to be there. He opened that door. He gave you that seat. So pull up, okay? Sit up. All right, and fake it till you make it, sis. Sometimes you just really have to tell yourself, you know what, we gonna fake it till we make it. But yeah, don't be overwhelmed. Don't feel bad. Stop second and doubting yourself. Again, check out my videos on stop doubting your dopeness, you're gifted, and also overcoming the fear of failure. Definitely pump and hype yourself up. For me, prayer is one of my biggest things to help me overcome my imposter syndrome when I get it. And I just quote scriptures back to myself because, you know, the word of God is alive. So I just try to like really feed myself with my scriptures to help me. So I don't know what works for you, but I will encourage you to like talk to somebody, pray, do something, but don't walk away because you definitely belong there. That seat is for you. It wasn't by mistake. You belong there. So stop trying to take yourself out of it and self-sabotage. That's really, really important. Like, don't pull yourself out of where God has ordained or called you to be. That business, that position, that job, school, stop trying to pull yourself out of it. You were built for this. You got this. And just understand that you belong there. I want you to say that to yourself. I belong here. Say that over, I belong here. Until you believe it, fake it till you make it. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much. I hope you learned something from this. Listen, I want you to share down below, how do you overcome imposter syndrome when you feel this, when you find yourself experiencing it? Like, what are some tips and tricks that you do that helps you? Please comment down below. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give me a thumbs up. I would love for you to join the OG, gang here. Go ahead and hit the subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so you can always know when I upload a new video. I upload weekly, but I just want to say thank you so much for checking me out. If you've been enjoying this video, check out the other videos on my channel as we are finishing 2020 strong and starting 2021 prepared. So yeah, I hope you come back soon because there's so much more to talk about. Until next time, bye.
Little skittle up in the house. I got my feet in my